welcome to Keeping It Real. I am your host, Jennifer, along with my friend, my real friend,
Trixie.
Yes.
I always say Trixie like that.
Yes.
All right, guys, so this is a very special episode that we are going to have. We are having our royal husbands. We're going to call them royal husbands. We have Jeremy. He's mine.
We have Michael, my real brother. He is Jackie's husband. Jackie helps us out in this show also. And Javi, my husband.
So we have that special clip that I will put right here.
A Spanish woman, they're raised to be a wife.
But why isn't a black woman raised that way?
Most black women are raised to be independent. Most black women are raised to be strong, tough, independent, and don't take no shit. Cause the daddy wasn't shit. I raised you alone by myself. Be a strong black woman. So they come into the game with their guard up ready. Now a Spanish girl is raised to serve. Let's face it, they're raised to serve. If one time I swear to God, I'm at a girl's house having dinner. I got her with my own plate, put it in the garbage, put it in the sink. Her mom spazzed on her in Spanish about da 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 da. Now, in the black woman's house, if I get up with my own plate, she gonna say, "That's a damn good nigga. He got his own shit. I like him, Shirley. He got his own shit." But Maria better get up and get that plate and get it washed and show him you are a wife.
They are reacting to it, and this is the guy's point of view. If you guys have not checked out our point of view, it'll be linked up there. So just remember to click on it with all of our other podcast episodes also.
Yes.
All right, you guys, and here they are.
Enjoy.
I'm Jeremy Rodriguez. I'm Latin. I'm 27.
My name is Marcos. I am aka Jennifer's brother. I'm 35 and I have 2 kids.
And I'm Javier, Melvin Javier. I'm 49 and I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, 30 years over there, and then the rest here, which I love it here in Florida.
I think like it depends on your age. If you're like younger, not necessarily, but when you're older, definitely. Yeah.
Yes, that is definitely a cultural thing. Like with Latin women especially. I mean, overall the whole Latin community, but from what I've seen and experienced, yes, Latin women are like, for the lack of a better term, trained to, hey, like from little, everything, like growing up, like getting them ready for marriage. It's like a very antiquated thing, but it is a tradition. And Latin men, we are taught, you're gonna be the man of the family, you are gonna be the provider. This is coming from somebody who allegedly has been working since 7 years old. All right, Javi, take it from there.
Yes, I believe yes. Like Marco says, it's a cultural thing, a traditional thing that comes from generation to generation, and so yeah. And coming from Puerto Rico, I seen that like our grandmothers teaching our mothers, and then from our mothers to our siblings, sisters. And aunts, like doing the same thing, treating the girls like, teaching them to serve and to have that role. And then the guys, like Marco says, and then in other cultures that I have been able to see, like Mexican cultures or Colombians, you see that even more intense, more, important for them for the woman to serve.
Well, yeah, in the Latin culture, definitely, because I had like older parents. Like my parents right now, my dad's 73, my mom's like 68. So when like growing up, my mom like cooked every day, did the dishes, cleaned. She didn't even want us in the kitchen. Like the boys, like we weren't even allowed in the kitchen. We like were always outside, like mowing the lawn, doing stuff like that. So I guess like that's what I was saying. Like when they're older, definitely that's like the mentality that they have. But I don't know. I know people around my age that aren't necessarily like that. Like a lot of like the Latin women nowadays are all about empowerment and stuff like that, and trying to be equal. So that's the way I see it.
Yeah. The way I saw it growing up was very traditional. Not to an extreme, but thank God. But I mean, like for example, me, what I experienced personally is from a very young age, I was learning to work. I started working with, in the family business, helping little things here and there, but it was almost like, now I look back, I'm like, damn, I was being trained like a little bit at a time, and also just based on experience being at home. We had a family of 3 women, 4 at one time. Somebody used to live at home. And for a while, it was just me and Papi. And then Paris came along too. And same thing with the women, you guys. There was always that, cleaning, cooking, serving. That's another thing. Like any family gatherings or whatever, that was one thing that I noticed was mommy, like for example, serving Papi. Like it was like serving them first. Like it was almost like a hierarchy. That's the best term to use. It's yeah, like a hierarchy, because like the guys were, the men were being trained to do one thing, me, by my dad, and then the women kind of leaning towards a different way. And then, but at the end of the day, it was kind of like expected, like, hey, I'm gonna grow up, I'm gonna get married, and I'm gonna be the man, the provider, and the woman's gonna be home cleaning. And it's like, holy shit, excuse me. But it's so not like that. It's, it's, I feel like I'm in this generation where we're waking up. I feel like it's an awakening where the traditions we're like waking up to like seeing like, hey, wait a second, like this is so antiquated. Like we don't have to be doing this anymore. Like it's an equal, it's a partnership. When you get married, it's two become one. It's two has become one. You work together. It's a team. It's teamwork. It's my wife. I'll give you a great example. Last weekend, my wife was outside doing lawn work while I was inside cooking, taking care of the kids. That's how it is. Sometimes we switch up. We'll do different things, but we don't have anything. There's nothing specific to man does this, woman does this. We don't see it like that. Although our parents were taught like that, our parents then turned around and taught us that. And I don't do that. I feel like our generation is more like we're waking up to it. And we're like we're starting to notice like, damn, like all this crap, all these traditions, like they need to die. Traditions are meant to. There's a lot of good traditions, but there's a lot of traditions that it's okay, they can die. It's like, okay, remember doing this, but bye. Like this doesn't
the way
happen.
they raise you can't even be solo, really.
Yeah,
like,
it's like
they don't teach you all the stuff that women do, so it's like, oh, now
Yes.
I rely on her. Like, what happens when she leaves?
And
I can't do my own clothes. I can't make.
That's
food,
what I was just gonna say. I'm like, and
Yeah.
it sucks because a lot of guys and women, don't get me wrong, they are trained to be a certain way, and then when they're like an adult, they're like, oh shit.
Yeah, what
Like,
happens
oh,
when
who's
you're
gonna?
alone?
Yeah, like you said, like something simple, cleaning clothes. Like, damn, like I don't know how to clean my clothes. Like I didn't learn till I was older.
Yeah, I ran into that when I moved
Cooking.
out first with Kenny, bro. I was like, there was a bunch of guys in the house, and I was like, man, I don't know how to do this shit.
Yeah. Like, yeah, you just
It is true.
It sets you up for failure.
And then on my case, like I said before, I'm 49 years old, and okay, like Marcos was saying, I come from a kind of similar background, Latin people from Puerto Rico, and my dad was, besides the culture, he was religious too, and we grew up in the Protestant religion, and where the woman's supposed to be submissive, and I say supposed to be because,
that's what it's written, literally.
Puerto Rican women or Latin women, they're not as submissive as.
I mean, the Bible literally says like women were put here to keep us company.
Yeah.
So no, but what I'm saying is, the religion had to do a lot with my dad's teachings and my mom's teaching, and but in my house, my dad used to also help out with cooking and the house while my mom was in college. So it was not always as strict as some other cultures or some other.
Actually,
households.
I want to add to that because going back to the whole religion thing, that has so much to do with certain traditions and a lot of families, especially Hispanic households. So
Yes,
we
sir.
know,
Mhm.
whether it be Christian or Catholic, it is a big thing. They're going off of a book that's stories that are literally thousands of years old, that has been translated God knows how many freaking times.
Yeah.
Written
Everyone
by
played telephone.
written by who? Men, not women, because women weren't allowed to be authors.
Women
by
couldn't-
men.
women couldn't even write.
So who wrote the rule book? Men. So that's why I'm like, I feel like people are now waking up and be like, damn, like, you know, this whole, you hear this whole down with the patriarchy, all this crap. And like, when I sit back and look, I'm like, damn, they got a freaking point, you know, especially when it goes to these kind of specific traditions regarding the households and stuff. When you really like go into it kind of deep, religion does hit hard, because that's where a lot of these ideals come from. And I feel like now that people are awakening, they're like killing off these traditions. They're like, that ain't happening anymore, you know? And it's good. I feel like it's a good thing. People are finally waking up, creating new traditions, breaking old traditions, you know, like the whole, man, like, God, like, this is how antiquated it is. Like, the basis of the whole man is like up here, you know, and the whole women are kind of like have to be submissive, is all started with cavemen, hunter-gatherers. Men were the hunters. Mostly women, weaker people, and children were the gatherers. They're the ones who were picking literally berries and vegetables and stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong, there is evidence now that, yes, they have found that a lot of women were in certain tribes and stuff. They were warriors and hunters and stuff. And that's just something that over time, as civilization got advanced, you know,
Evolved.
we evolved, but for some reason, this whole thing of like, hey, we're evolving, but this whole thing of like men being kind of being seen as more stronger or whatever, of the two, certain things, it was like all of a sudden, like, we're becoming civilized, but yet still these certain things, like these ideals became these traditions, and like still like all this time, like later, you know, like for example, the whole thing with girls is like, for example, we train them to be more submissive, cleaning, all this stuff. For what? It's to prepare them for marriage, because back then that's what we would used to do. The guy would come, ask for the woman's hand in marriage, you know, one family to become, you know, two families become one. That's where the idea came from, is that, you know, they were literally preparing the girl to get these two families together and whatever, and the idea stuck. And here we are, thousands of years later, still freaking talking about it. And like, you know, now finally we're waking up to it and be like, damn, these traditions have to die. Like, there's no need that, like, man, the husband or whatever does this, the woman does this. And you said something earlier that was great. What about gay couples?
Oh yeah.
What, the two men, we're gonna cut the lawn together and no one's gonna fucking cook. You know, like seriously,
Or like
think
you got
about it.
two women, like,
seriously,
who's gonna
or two
earn the
women,
money?
like Jesus Christ, the fucking lawn. Who's gonna cut the
Yeah.
lawn? Like, yeah, like these traditions have to die. I'm sorry, but if you think about it like that, like you made a good point. Like, what about gay couples? Like, it's so freaking true though. Like, that's why it has to die. Like, it's teamwork. You work together. You know.
Exactly.
You know, you have these kids. The wife didn't pop these kids out by herself. And, you know, we made these kids together. We made this family together. We got married. Not I got married. And those specific type of traditions
I
have
think
to.
it's because people are like to people please, you know, like you want to make your parents, your grandparents
Yeah.
happy, so you know you do what they did, you know, because that's what they want you to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in politics and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, when I have a kid, well, it's different. If I have like a daughter, right, you kind of have to teach them everything, because like the way that they do it now, like what happens if you're not around? You know, anything could happen. What happens if your daughter ends up alone, God forbid, and all you taught them how to do was like serve men and like do the dishes and stuff like that? How are they gonna survive? Like,
Exactly.
that's the way I think about things. Anything could happen at any time, you know.
Yeah.
So that's the way you should be raising them, to be self-sufficient as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So
That's a good point. Because unfortunately, I've seen that a lot with relationships where the woman will be with a man. That's a great point. Because I've seen that where they will stay with this man, they don't freaking love them, but oh no, but he takes care of the family, he works, he does this, and they're not freaking happy. You know, and going back to that, like, they need to learn to be self-sufficient. They need to be able to take care of themselves, you know. Me personally, those traditions are gonna die. Like, I'm sorry, like, I'm raising my kids to learn to be independent. Like, you know, when it comes to couples, I hope, God willing, me and Jackie are a good example of, you know, married couple has to be, it's all about teamwork.
Yeah.
You know, and I want my kids to see that. And I'm gonna teach them, you know, yes, you know, I'll tell them about the old traditions and stuff, but I just, you know, like Camila, she's a really smart girl. She's like in special classes, you know, what's it called? Gifted. She's a smart girl, you know, so as I raise her, you know, I don't want her to count on some man, like, or hey, whatever, she goes the other way. Who cares? Like, I just want her to know, hey, you need to learn how to take care of yourself. There's no man does this, you do this. You know, I want them to learn that. Respect each other, learn, you know, respect, teamwork, and, you know, a lot of these traditions that
Exactly. And
they're, with me and Jackie, they're dying. A lot of stuff is dying.
I agree because, like I heard something that, you know, the traditional ways were get married to be happy. No, be happy, and then if you want to get married, do it. If not, then don't do it.
You shouldn't be getting married if you're not happy. Like, you should be happy before the marriage, you know?
Or
Because
like-
that's just a precursor of what's to come. If you're upset, getting married is not going to fix that problem.
No, it's
Yeah.
it'll make you more upset.
Yeah.
No.
You're just upset for life now.
No,
Like-
but the thing is, so like you said, I don't have a daughter or kids, but to my nephews or, you know, whoever I can talk to, you know, I empower them to be self-sufficient, like you said, and you know, be outgoing, you know, believe in themselves, empower them, and just to push them forward, and you know, follow their dream too, you know, not just what your parents did,
Exactly.
but what's in your heart, what comes from your heart.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Humans in general, they like having power. So when you have somebody that is like underneath you that will do whatever you say, you know what I'm saying? It kind of makes you feel like, you're a little bit more like the man, you know? Because like I call the shots. So yeah,
Yes.
and like the women, they're raised to like fluff that up too, you know? Like, yeah, you're right, you know? Because that's the way that they were raised, and that's how they saw that their dad was treated by their
I've
mom.
seen that
So
more times than I can count. Where, like, they get into this mindset and it just becomes this crazy, like, it's almost like a game. Like, I have had ex-friends that have been, they have that crazy mindset, like, to the point where it sounds like, damn, like, you stop and you're like, are you kidding? Like, they're talking about, oh, this bitch is gonna, you know, talking about their wife. Oh, she's with the good, and then they're talking about, yeah, I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, is this a game? I've had people like show, like, they have, it's a power thing. It's like, a lot of times it's this weird power thing, like, oh yeah, she's gonna do this for me, she's gonna, you know, like, it's weird. It's almost like a slave, like this it's like Jeremy said, it's definitely a power thing, I feel. And that's one of the biggest reasons I feel like it has to stop. I think that's where this whole what's it called, this machismo thing, you know, I feel like it feeds, like the machismo feeds on that, you know.
Exactly.
And that's I feel like one of the biggest reasons that a lot of these traditions should die, because like it leads to a lot of negative things, you know.
it's almost like animalistic.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Like for real.
And like competing for power, as you know, and for me, I grew up like in the same cultural, you know, values and stuff, but for me, in the way I see my marriage, and you know, the way I see that how I don't see the woman like as I see my wife like as an equal person, like, you know, we have the same rights to rest at the end of the day, because she works too, I work too, so it's not like she's a housewife, and even if she was a housewife, she works at home too, so some people don't see that as a work, but so for me, I think I'm breaking the habit of the woman, you know, serving the man necessarily, you know, and cooking every day or something like that.
You bring up a good point.
Or
You
doing
said about
the
the work,
I do
the
the
whole work thing.
I help her do the
Yeah.
laundry, at least, putting stuff together, not the whole thing, but I mean, at least, helping halfway through, or the kitchen, or the dishes, or the house cleaning. So I'm not a guy that I just do the outside stuff, or the car stuff, or whatever. I help in the house too. And because I know we are a team, like you said before, we are a team. So I think we're breaking the rules of the past.
Yeah, well, going back to what he said, I feel like now thinking back, I'm like, damn, that's probably part of this whole, a little bit of a part of the awakening is for my parents, his parents, like we saw that generation where a lot of it was the men were the man of the family. They were the support, they were the ones supporting the family financially. They're the ones going to work. You had a lot of mothers that were actually housewives. And now here comes our generation. Times have changed.
Both
The economy has changed. I see myself, me and my wife, we both work. It's like, I feel like when women started to have to become a huge part of the workforce, because if you think about it, this literally goes back all the way to World War II.
Yeah.
When the women stayed here, they weren't at home just taking care of the kids. They were making tanks. They were putting together weapons, bombs, ammunition. The women were waking up like, damn, we're women and we're putting shit together for our guys over there. So when World War II ended, women started joining the workforce in pretty big numbers. And that led to where we're at now, where the economy changed and women had already awakened. They're like, shit, I can be working. Like, it's not just a guy's thing. And then now they're coming back. And like he said, he's like, damn, like we're equals. We're coming back. We're entitled to rest as well. It's not like, oh, hey, we got home. Hey, honey, clean up the fucking house. Hey, go cook. No, it's a teamwork thing. And I feel like many different things throughout like different generations, I feel like we're little steps in like creating this awakening. Like, and a lot of these traditions are like finally like, like the curtains being pulled back and being like, oh shit, like this is bullcrap. Like,
You ever
this
talk to your
again.
parents about that though? I've talked to my dad about that. He blames World War II for pretty much everything. He said the high divorce rate is because when men went to war in World War II, women found out, hey, we could do this without them. So all the ones that were upset and stuff, they were just like leaving their men like, I don't need this,
Yeah, because a lot of
Yeah.
going back to the whole machismo thing, you had these guys who were accustomed to the women being submissive, and hey, with an awakening, you're gonna have people, you're gonna have an equal force striking back, going, hey, no, mother, you fucking clean, you cook, like and I feel like I feel bad for women because they're the ones who were put down below, going back like we said before, going back to the Bible. Like, it's literally freaking written that women were down here. And it's like this whole tradition thing, it has to stop. We're equals,
Exactly.
And that's how it goes with in not just marriage, but I feel like in relationships, it has to be all about teamwork and relationships. And if one wants to make it work and the other one doesn't, that's why relationships fail. It's that simple. Back to what he was saying, I don't think it was, I think I have a handful of times, but it was more of an organic thing. It came about where maybe my father, for example, because remember, I work with my father, like we're together a lot. We work together, we run the family business. So I feel like when I first got married, and then like there were certain things that I would say like, oh, my wife is doing or whatever, like I could tell like he would be like, like, oh what? Like, like to him it was like he wasn't used to that. My father has been used to being the provider. And nothing bad. My dad did a damn good job. My family, my mother did a good job. My dad did a good job. But that's the roles they chose. They, out of tradition, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's been a couple times, like I think also the having kids. That's another thing. Where it's like my dad, he helped in raising, but there's certain things, little things, for example, taking the kids to school. Dealing with school stuff, like it was an accustomed thing because of tradition that the wife would kind of be the one handling that crap. But when it's like, hey, I'm gonna go with my daughter to a field trip, it's like, wait, what? Like your wife's? It was out of habit. You know, Bobby would be like, oh, but why isn't she doing it? Like it's this like this whole tradition thing that the woman is the one that is gonna be taking care of the kids and stuff. And I'm like, no, I want to be with my kid. I want to do stuff. Like it's not, she works too, like, and it's like this, and you can see, like, I remember seeing his face, like, oh, like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. And it's like, even the older generation, I feel like now, they're kind of learning, like, damn, like, we lived our lives this way, but it's okay. You know, I feel like little by little, they're learning. One day, that generation will be gone. It's going to be us. And it's like, it's our turn to, I guess, if you, for lack of a better term, create new traditions, if you want to call it that.
Exactly.
I feel like, you know, there's, yeah, you're just gonna, you know, we're gonna create new traditions. We're gonna break a lot of old traditions. You know, it's
exactly,
yeah.
and the father being more involved in today's families, I think is so important. So because like you said, the father was the provider, and then dealing with the kids, it brings me back to my own family. It was, you know, more like a woman's thing, or sometimes, you know, parents would go together if once or twice a year for school and stuff. But nowadays, you know, fortunately, I work for you know, families in my job. I'm a family support worker, and you see a lot of fathers that are not involved with the kids, and so I empower those that can be with the families and be involved and play basketball or take them to school or to the zoo or something, you know, and not necessarily, you know, the whole family together. Sometimes, you know, like you said, you can go, you know, by yourself or go to school, or I don't know, any activities that they have, you know, community activities, be there, you know, and you don't have to be like a special father. All you need to be is there for them, like be there. Yeah.
All right, you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the guys talking. They had
they had very good points.
Yeah, they had really good conversations that we didn't think about.
I like that about killing traditions.
Yeah.
Like stopping certain traditions. Yeah,
Exactly.
I like
Yeah. So if you guys want to see more of that, just let us know below, or let us know in our social medias. Everything will be linked down below. So remember to like, subscribe, share, comment, do everything that you guys got to do just to support us.
Please subscribe.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that are watching us but not subscribing.
Subscribe. Yeah.
Yes.
So do that.
All right, you guys. So remember to keep it real and stay royal.
Stay royal.
Bye.